نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهدي الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله ربه بالهدى ودين الحق فبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة فكشف الله به الغمة فاللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا والإسلام والمسلمين خير ما جزيت به نبيا عن أمته ورسولا عن رسالته اللهم آمين. أوصيكم ونفسي عباد الله بتقوى الله. قال عز وجل أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. اللهم يا رب احينا مسلمين وتوفنا مسلمين والحقنا بالصالحين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم آمين. All praise is for Allah Azza wa Jalla. We praise Him. We thank Him. We always resort to Him Azza wa Jalla for help and assistance. Whomsoever Allah Azza wa Jalla guides, no one can misguide, and whomsoever Allah leads astray, no one can show guidance. O Allah, give us guidance. Show us the right way. So show us the right direction, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. I remind myself, my brothers and sisters, of the best advice is to be always mindful and conscious about the existence and presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His knowledge, through His ilm, through His awareness, محيط بكل شيء على كل شيء قدير, through His qudra and power over everything. May Allah give us the taqwa and make us live as Muslims, as muttaqeen, and die as Muslims and as muttaqeen. Ameen ya Rabb al-Alamin. نواصل مع سيرة أفضل الخلق. We continue with the seerah of the best human ever that walked on this earth. And before I do that, I remind you and everybody with one of the beautiful advices he gave عليه الصلاة والسلام for people who are attending Jum'ah. وصية وصى بها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حضور صلاة الجمعة. يقول إذا قلت لصاحبك, if you tell your brother, your friend next to you, while the Imam is giving the khutbah, والإمام يخطب يوم الجمعة on Friday, announce it, he's speaking, and you tell him, please stop, listen. فقد لغى. If you tell him that, you are committing lahu and you are losing your Jum'ah. ومن لغى فلا جمعة له. هذه النصيحة يعني الأخوات اللي بيتكلموا والأخوات اللي طلبوا مني أن أذكر بالنصيحة. It's mostly the sisters or some young sisters, I don't know, that it's noisy in the back, according to the sisters. And those sisters are requesting that I make this reminder. Also the phones. يا أحبابنا الكرام, the phones most of our days, including myself. Let's focus on those 20 minutes or so in the khutbah. Not because somebody is saying the most important person saying, no, it's not that. It's the Prophet ﷺ is saying, you listen, if you don't listen, you lose your Jum'ah. So that's it. Please, sisters, brothers, young, old, everybody, pay attention in those few minutes, especially when we talk about Muhammad ﷺ. This is the last portion of the Ahd al-Madinah, the last few years from year 5 and on. We've covered until Ghazwatu al-Khandaq. Year 5, and everybody came to attack Medina. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam led the trench, and it ended up, as we all know, no fight, not much fight. Non-Muslims had to leave. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had to go to Bani Qurayza. Those group of Jews who betrayed what they agreed upon with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is not a person of betrayal. It's a high treason. They allowed the enemy to come and attack the Muslims, which means if Muslims did not win, all the Muslims would have been gone. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam قضى فيهم بحكم الله ورسوله. It was كانت محاكمة عادلة اختاروا فيها قاضيهم. It was a courting, a trial, and they chose, he told them which qadi, which judge you choose. They chose the judge, and the judge gave the judgment. And until nowadays, high treasons mean capital punishment, which was given to all the adults. So, year 6, quickly moving to the next year, النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم خرج للعمرة في 1400 و 1500. Around 1400, year 6, النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم thought to go make Umrah. Allah saw him in a dream that he is making tawaf around the Kaaba, and he told the Sahaba, let's go make Umrah. They went to make Umrah, getting closer to Mecca, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was trying his best to, give the news that don't take any weapons with you. We're going for Umrah, showing the talbiyah, showing that we're just going to visit the house, which is sacred for everybody. Coming closer to Mecca, the Quraysh got to know about the news. And they sent one after the other, 3 messengers to check what's going on. And everyone saw the Muslims in their white clothes, in their ihram, coming to make Umrah. They came to report back to Quraysh. They don't believe him. Second one, third one. It was all that they're coming peaceful. They're trying to make Umrah. The last one even told them, you are the guardians of these sacred places. You cannot allow nothing for them, all the other tribes, and you prevent the true heir of this sacred house, the son or the grandson of Abdul Muttalib. Not possible. But they were arrogant and they did not want to make any changes. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent Uthman ibn Affan, very respectable, very easygoing person, as an ambassador to talk to them, along with 10 other people. They prevented him from going back. And subhanAllah, one quick lesson here, they offered him, you have been away from the haram, you are okay to go and make tawaf. We know that you are longing for that. That's not fit for me to go make tawaf before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would do it. Look at the law of Uthman, I can't do it before the Prophet. Here's the house. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam will not say it's haram or bad, or it's the adab with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ما كنت لأطوف بالبيت قبل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. They prevented Uthman from going back, and the 10 people. وشاع بين المسلمين أنهم قتلوا الرسول. يعني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. It was now rumors or some news spread amongst Muslims. They have killed the messenger of Allah, Uthman, which means even in today's sense, killing an ambassador is just an announcement of war. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam بدأ يأخذ بيعة الرضوان تحت الشجرة على القتال حتى الموت. These Muslims started giving pledge of allegiance to Rasulullah. We're going to fight to the last breath and the last drop of our blood. Because you cannot do that. But then when Quraysh came to know about it, خافوا وهابوا ذلك. They knew no, we cannot do that. Let's do something about it. Let's send some people to start negotiating. They started sending one person after the other to negotiate, and they released Uthman. They released the 10 people. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam started accepting the negotiation back and forth until they sent Suhail ibn Amr. And then they agreed on 4 things. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was so happy with the treaty. Unlike some Muslims, number 1 of the treaty, طلب الحرب 10 سنين. 10 years of peace, no war. We are not going to fight for 10 years, for the next 10 years. 2. الرجوع والعودة بعد عام. دخول مكة 3 أيام. You have to go back, no Umrah this year. Arrogance in the heart of course. You cannot go back. Come next year, and you are allowed only 3 days for Umrah. Fine. Number 3, من أتى من المسلمين لا يرد ومن أتى من قريش يرد. If a Muslim, if one person accepts Islam, or one of the Muslims comes back to Quraysh, leaves the Muslim, betrays Muslim, comes back to Quraysh, we are not obliged to send him back. But if one of us comes to you, you have to send him back. Fine. Number 4, من أحب أن يدخل في عهد المسلمين أو عهد قريش فله ذلك. If you want to ally with the Muslims, fine. If you want to ally with Quraysh, fine. For someone like Umar ibn Khattab, that's not fine. Somebody comes to us, we have to send him back. Somebody from us goes to them, they don't want to send him back, but we have to send him back. And we have to go back right now. I think we can fight them, and we can go and we can make Umrah. That's not al-haq, that's al-batil. We have the truth, they have the falsehood. Why do we have to accept such unfair and unjust terms? And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, I'm the messenger of Allah, Ya Umar. I know. What am I doing? I'm guided by Allah Azza wa Jal. فعالوا وتحللوا بعد ما تألموا. It wasn't easy for Muslims coming to. Didn't you tell us, Rasulullah, that there was a dream and you are making a policy? Did I say this year? Inshallah we'll do. But it's not this year. فرجعوا وتحللوا. The long story, they had to come out of the ihram And they came back, وأنزل الله عليه سورة الفتح إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا. Indeed, we have given you a great conquest. It's a great opening. Is that fact? Now that we are prevented from going to Mecca and all of these, having to accept all of these conditions, is that Nasr, is that victory, is that triumph? How come? And Umar continued to blame himself for the end of his life, that he was for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, somebody whose heart is full of love and life, and full of Islam, love of Allah, and not accepting anything that's not fair. But he kept blaming himself that he had to argue with Rasulullah at this time. ثم بدأ الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, from now on it's peace, no war. فتأمن الطرق. Routes are now clear and safe, and Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم started sending to all the kings and all the umara and muluk around him. So he sent messages of Islam to Bayt al-Maqdis, وإلى كسرى وقيصر وnajashi, all the kings of Abyssinia, the Africans, the king of Egypt, the king of the Romans, the king of Asham, Dimashq, the king of Persia, sending and calling all of them for Islam. And you can read, for example, the long hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, when the king of the Romans in Elia, in Bayt al-Maqdis in Jerusalem, it was under the Romans at this time, received the message. And he started saying, do we have any of those Arabs in the area? And Abu Sufyan at this time, since it was peace and everybody's making trades and business, he happened to be in Syria, and he was the leader of Quraysh, from the same tribe of Muhammad, from the same family. They brought him, and he asked him the few questions. Who is that person? Did he used to lie? What kind of person is he? He asked him several questions, and he himself, being a believer and having the Bible and having the glad tidings of a messenger to come after Isa alayhi salam, he recognized that this should be the messenger. This must be the prophet, and if what you're saying is true, he should own and he should reign over where I'm sitting right now. Well, if I am to catch him, I would wash his feet. I would personally wash his feet, but then he had to go back after the patriarchs and the religious people around him. Priests and ministers are like, what is it? You abandoned your religion? So he started going back. At this time, Abu Sufyan, coming from the middle of Arabia desert, at this time he realized that all the news about what they used to think of as a rebellious person or insignificant, now the king of the Romans is asking about him. That's big. So he knew, probably, I guess, my reading for the Sirah is Abu Sufyan from that time, his arrogance was shocked. His arrogance started, shaking, but then he will accept Islam a couple of years later in Fatih Mecca. بعث إلى الحارث بن عمير أمير بصرى فقتل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ولم تقتل الرسل. He sent another messenger for Harith, the leader of Busra, and he killed the messenger of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, and that will be the reason for Mu'tah. And the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم will send Khalid sometime later when Khalid accepted Islam, Khalid bin Walid, to lead an expedition against those people who killed his ambassador and his messenger in the big Ghazwa of Mu'tah, and we know the details. He sent to Amir Dimashq, Damascus, and قرأ الكتاب واستأذن كان تحت ملك الروم. He threw the letter and he asked the king above him to go and fight against those insignificant people in Arabia, but he was not given this permission. وأرسل حاطب بن أبي بلتعة المقوقس ملك مصر. He sent to the king of Egypt, and the king of Egypt was wise. He was considering it, but he did not give a definite answer. لم ينكر ولم he did not accept faith right away, but he did not deny or reject it. And he even sent some gifts with Muhammad, with the people to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وأرسل بكسرى ملك الفرس. Kisra was arrogant, the king of Persia. ومزق الكتاب فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مزق الله ملكه. And he tore or cut the letter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made dua against him, Allah tear apart his kingdom, and he did happen. وأرسل إلى النجاشي. He was also neutral, but he was afraid from the followers around him, from the people around him, would they be okay if I accept Islam or not? That kind, this specific king. وأرسل لملوك عمان فأسلموا وملوك البحرين. There were some muluk and some kingdoms accepted Islam, not huge in number. Oman and Bahrain at this time. Bahrain is the eastern part of Saudi Arabia, not Bahrain that's known nowadays. ثم رجع بقية مهاجري الحبشة. The people 10 years ago who migrated to Abyssinia, now everything is peaceful, everything is okay, we can go back. They went back to be with the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina after 10 years being away. منهم جعفر ibn Abi Talib. And at this time, because of the peace and everything, بدأ عظماء الرجال المسلمون. Some of the greatest leaders and biggest figures of non-Muslims started accepting Islam. Khalid ibn Walid, it was the time for him. And he was going personally to Medina, and he met on the way Amr ibn al-As wa Uthman ibn Talha. Three of the leaders of Mushrikun. He said, where are you going? You tell me where you're going. You tell me. I think it's clear now. We don't have to hide it anymore. This is the truth. I'm going to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam Medina to accept Islam. And he came all the way. And subhanAllah, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came the next year, because he came the year after to make Umrah for 3 days. And he mentioned Khalid ibn Walid. His brother, Al-Walid ibn Walid, had accepted Islam already. And he asked him where is Khalid. He wasn't in Mecca at this time. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is asking about somebody who was very intelligent and bright and superior leader, military leader. He said, I know he's smart enough, he's very intelligent. I just don't know how come until now it's not clear for him that Islam is the truth. But I know Allah will bring him one day. So when he came, his brother Al-Walid is a Muslim already. He took him to Rasulullah who was already, he knew he's coming and he was waiting for him and he was so happy. And he told him, I knew you had such a sharp mind that you know this is the truth. And here you come, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought you. فشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله accepted Islam. He gave the shahada and he asked Rasulullah to ask forgiveness for him from Allah. And he did ask Allah forgiveness for Khalid ibn Walid. And from that point on, subhanAllah, Khalid will be one of the closest people to Rasulullah. Amr ibn al-As also accepted Islam, and Uthman, and many other leaders will accept Islam at this time. Mu'tah was such, there's no time to talk about all the details. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent this expedition when that specific king killed his messenger and ambassador, and we're talking about 3,000 people are facing. It's not now the Arabs or some tribes fighting, it's the Romans, because this person he was under the kingdom of the Romans. So 150,000. That's 1 to 50. 3,000 in front of 150,000. Every one Muslim is faced by 50. 1 to 50. And the 3 leaders appointed by Rasulullah, they were killed one after the other. And they had to make sure, and they appointed Khalid ibn Walid. And Khalid ibn Walid, with 3,000 people, 1 to 50, he managed to come back with the least amount of casualties and losses that is even considered as Nasr or triumph. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam received him and congratulated him and everything. That is really, something that's worth reflecting. It's because of the faith of those people that one of them was able to face 50. وألقى الله الرعب في قلوب الأعداء فخافوا. ثم كان فتح مكة. The big event, year 8, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the treaty of peace with Quraysh, and Quraysh has its own allies, and the Muslims have their own allies. Everybody is peaceful for the past couple of years or so, until one of the allies, Banu Bakr, allies of Quraysh, people of Mecca, they attacked Khuza'ah, which was in the alliance with the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they killed so many of them, and they had to go even to the Haram, to the boundaries of the sanctuary of Mecca, seeking protection from the people of Mecca. And people of Mecca just let the enemy kill them in the Haram. And they had to go all the way to Medina, Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah. But they were not Muslims, but you are our ally, and that's what happened. Now, something needs to be done. And gave poetry and asked support from the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was signed. So the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam started preparing for Fath Mecca. And he was hiding it. And he was making sure all the intelligence work is there. That I don't want them to know, so they would prepare. I don't want any fight. It was almost time because all the leaders of Mecca are coming to accept Islam. Even though the leader of Mecca, Abu Sufyan himself, when he realized what Quraysh has done by supporting those people in their attack against the allies of Muhammad, he came to Medina and he realized there's something wrong. He shouldn't have done this. He came all the way to Medina to see what's going on and ask for an extension or renewal of the treaty. We're still good. He said, are we still good? We're still on the treaty? And the Prophet did not reply to him. He did not tell him we're out, but he did not reply to him. And he started preparing the army. 10,000 people are now marching towards Mecca. In Ramadan, 10th of Ramadan, going all the way to Mecca. When they were by the Hudaybiyah, Barakat Naqat Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The camel, the sweat of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, guided by Allah, sat down. They start, poke here, let's move forward. Mecca is there, we see it, it's just a few miles. He said, no, my animal or my mount or my she-camel is not rebellious. It's not doing that out of rebellion or so. The same thing that prevented the elephant from proceeding at the year that Allah came to destroy the Kaaba, the same thing is stopping me. We should stop here. They stopped here, and Wasalat back and forth, Quraysh are sending people, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam showing that, we're not coming to make war or anything, but that's it. We need to support those people. At the end, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went on, continued. Abu Sufyan came. Abu Sufyan also came, being the leader of Mecca, trying to find out what's going on, but he was captured by the Muslims. But he was dealt with in the most respectful way. Al-Abbas took him to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He met him and he gave him respect and everything. And he did not tell him it's time to accept Islam or anything, but he told Al-Abbas to show him. Let him sit somewhere where he can see all the Muslims at night. And he has Muslims to kindle fire every group. So he sees how Islam is now big and strong. So he is not, or he changes. The arrogance dies in his heart and he sees that the religion of Allah is growing. And it's time to accept Islam. فالعباس بعد المطالب قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ان ابا سفيان رجل يحب الفخر. I know Abu Sufyan being a leader and being such, I know his personality, he likes give him something special. قال من أغلق عليه بابه فهو آمن ومن دخل البيت فهو آمن ومن دخل دار أبو سفيان فهو آمن. If you stay home, you are safe. People of Mecca, send somebody to announce in Mecca. If you stay at your house, you're safe. If you go to the Kaaba, you're safe. If you go to the house of Abu Sufyan, you're safe. He's trying to tell Abu Sufyan or give this special thing for Abu Sufyan which he liked. And when he saw all the Muslims now, Abu Sufyan, he said, yes, this is the truth, and he accepted Islam. Even the leader of Mecca, the president and the leader of Mecca accepted Islam before they go to Mecca. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked Khalid to go from one area and he go from the other area. You can imagine some of the teenagers of Mecca, even though their leader accepted Islam and it's clear, but they insisted to fight. They fought against Khalid. It was a little fight that he just finished in no time. The side that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came from in Mecca, it was open. There was no resistance. And this is the big time. This is the big situation. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is entering Mecca after 8 years with almost no resistance. The leaders of Mecca, most of them accepting Islam. And the people of Mecca are all now in front of him والسلام, to do whatever he wants. Those are the same people who killed many of his friends. Those are the same people who took their properties and expelled them out of their homes. Those are the people who waged war against them year after year after year. They allied with their enemies. They did everything they could to suffocate Muslims, to kill Muslims, to eradicate Muslims. But now he's coming. فما كان النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام لأبي وأمي إلا أن دخل منحنيا رأسه حتى كانت رأسه تبلغ ناقته أو عنق ناقته صلى الله عليه وسلم. He was humbling himself and literally putting his head down so much so that his head almost touched the neck of the camel. He is humbling himself for Allah that opened Mecca for him. ودخل البيت he entered the house. And he made everything safe except for 4 or 5 people. Those people, no amnesty for them. And basically, most of them, they had already become Muslims, and then they killed some of the Muslims and they fled to Mecca. فَقَتَلَهُمْ قَوْمًا. Only 2 of them or so were killed, 3 were killed. But then some of them who came to Rasulullah later on and accepted Islam, he forgave them. So those people, they were killed because they have already killed. They have been attacking Islam more than anybody, but they have already killed Muslims. So he can forgive what if it has to do with him, but it has to do with other people, that's not for me to forgive. What everybody is sitting, called for the key of the Kaaba. He summoned the keys of the Kaaba from Bani Shayba, Talha. And he opened the Kaaba and he prayed in there, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَكَبَّرَ Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And he started breaking all the asnam, all the idols in the Kaaba. And it was the big moments. What's going to happen? People are asking, what is he going to do for us? What do you think I'm going to do for you? And they started telling him, Akhun Kareem, Akhun Kareem, you are such a generous, kind person, relative, and a cousin. Go, all of you are free. He let them all go. He let them all go. You're free. He didn't even tell them you have to become Muslims. فَقَبِلَ أَكْثَرُ قُرَيْشٍ يَوْمَهَا الْإِسْلَامِ. Most of Quraysh at this day, they accepted Islam. Most of them. A few of them decided to continue their ways. He did not force anybody. It doesn't work by forcing. وجاءت اللحظة الحاسمة. أمر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بلالا أن يرتقي الكعبة ويكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم told Bilal رضي الله عنه to rise above the Kaaba and say Allah Akbar. And he rose, Bilal رضي الله تعالى عنه الحبشي from Habasha, from Africa. Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم is asking him. Everybody is thinking things in their mind about people black. Until nowadays, they receive the news. People calling their friends, little ones, names. Yeah, but now why do we use filth? Why do we put filth in our tongue? Why do we do this? كان خلف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ابن مولاه زيد ibn Haritha. The one behind the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم as he was entering Mecca was the son of his ex-slave. Not one of Quraysh, not one of his family members, not one of the... There's no... All distinctions between people is now disappearing. The mu'adhin, the one who would rise and announce the call for prayer is somebody from Abyssinia. That's what the Nabi sallallahu is teaching Muslims in the whole world. And in his khutbah, he talked to everybody that day, teaching them ahkam of Islam, the rules of Islam, and so on. And he gave Muslims and everybody also another lesson in wafat and loyalty. Ali ibn Abi Talib is asking for the key, also give me the key. I need to be the guardian of the Kaaba. He said, no, this is the day of loyalty. Give the key back to Bani Shayba, to Talha. That family should remain and stay with them for the end of the time. No one should take it from them except an unjust ruler. لا ينزعهم إلا ظلم. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam respected Mecca. And he started removing the Asnam al-Uzza, Akbar Asnam al-Quraysh, Wamanat, all the big idols that they used to worship. He broke them, saying, وَجَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلُ. Today the truth has come and the batil, the falsehood is gone. إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. I conclude with, you can now imagine he has been there for 19 days in Mecca, peaceful. The same mountain he used to announce to people, I'm Rasulullah, and everybody is calling him names, including his uncle. Now he's standing on a salah to preach Islam. To tell people this is Islam, this is what's right, and people are listening. So the Ansar, the people in Medina, from Medina, they thought, is he going to come back with us to Medina? Is he staying? Yes, he's going to stay. This is his family, this is his arham, his blood, his house, everything. He's not going to come back with us, and we are now being left alone because everybody's our enemy now, and he's going to leave us. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam addressing them, he said, I know what you're saying, and life is yours, my life is with you, and my death is going to be with you. Basically, I'm going to go back with you. The last couple of years of his life, we will discuss tonight after Salat al-Maghrib in the Friday night program, inshallah. كل قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. So here we have Islam is, almost دخل الناس في دين الله أفواجا. People are entering Islam in droves from all the parts, from all the sides. Even Mecca, the worst of enemies for Islam, which is the house of Allah is there, and it's the place of Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail is now accepting Islam. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Islam will be going into a different level in the last couple of years, where many more people would accept Islam. Following Quraysh, because Quraysh, the leading tribe in Arabia is accepting Islam, and everybody will be Muslim. I would like to, before I conclude, remind everybody, inshallah, of an important event. And then, inshallah, we have an event this coming Friday, not tonight, but next Friday. 15 different speakers will be talking about the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as our role model, and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قدوتنا. 15 متحدثا من جاليتنا, youth, sisters, brothers, new Muslims, everybody. I'm giving transport as many people as possible. They will be talking, inshallah, to us, and we'll have an nasheed. We will have different nasheeds and everything. This coming, not tonight, but a week from today, inshallah, coming Friday, October 6th. And there will be food served after the event, inshallah. So check out the flyer and mark your calendar and join us, and invite all your friends and bring your family, inshallah. Also come tonight, because this will be the last portion of the seerah of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We've been talking about this for the past few weeks. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. اللهم اغفر لنا انك انت الغفور الرحيم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم. اللهم الحقنا الصالحين. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الاحياء منهم والاموات انك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. Oh Allah, make us live and follow in the footsteps of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Oh Allah, give us always the ziyarah and the visit of the Masjid of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the place of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the Medina and Mecca. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. اللهم اغفر لنا انك انت الغفور الرحيم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم. وصلي وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين.